Mitchell using the screen. Clark evades. 3 seconds. Clark, the spin and the lay. Looking healthy on that finish.
Caitlin Clark wasted no time reminding the basketball world why the WNBA feels different whenever she steps onto the court. Gainbridge Fieldhouse in Indianapolis was packed on Saturday afternoon as the Indiana Fever faced the Dallas Wings on ABC in front of a sold-out crowd. What unfolded inside the arena quickly turned into one of the most memorable season openers the league has ever seen. For the first time in WNBA history, both teams scored over 100 points in a season opener. Court also featured the last 4 #1 overall draft picks playing together at the same time, creating a showcase the league could not have scripted any better. Right in the center of that historic moment was Caitlin Clark making history once again, becoming the fastest guard in WNBA history to record 1,000 points, 250 rebounds, and 250 assists. She broke the previous mark held by Diana Taurasi, reaching the milestone in just 54 games. What made Clark's performance even more impressive was the physical condition she battled through during the game. She headed to the locker room twice after appearing uncomfortable with hip and groin issues, areas that caused serious problems for her last season and forced her to miss significant time, including the playoffs. Each time she walked off the court, the entire crowd inside the building went silent with concern. And both times she returned to continue fighting for her team. Despite clearly not being fully healthy, Clark still played 30 minutes, finished with 20 points and 7 assists, and added another legendary accomplishment to her growing resume. Indiana head coach Stephanie White later tried to calm concerns by explaining that Clark only went back for adjustments and treatment, but for fans who have watched her battle injuries over the past 2 seasons, those moments were still difficult to watch. Dallas arrived ready to prove they belonged in the spotlight as well. New head coach Jose Fernandez made his WNBA debut after spending 25 years coaching at the University of South Florida, bringing an aggressive system built around speed, three-point shooting, and relentless offensive pressure. The Wings featured an elite roster loaded with talent. Paige Bueckers entered the season after winning the 2025 Rookie of the Year award. Eriko Gunbowl remained one of the league's most dangerous scorers, while Azzi Fudd, the first overall pick in the 2026 draft, made her highly anticipated regular season debut. With so much young star power sharing the floor, the WNBA's 30th season received the perfect opening showcase. Indiana came out firing immediately. Kelsey Mitchell scored the Fever's first basket before Dallas even had a chance to settle into the game, knocking down a pull-up jumper that instantly energized the crowd. Bueckers answered right back with a deep three-pointer for Dallas, setting the tone for a fast-paced battle between 2 explosive teams. Clark quickly found her rhythm with an aggressive drive to the basket and a pair of free throws after drawing contact. Possession after possession, both teams traded shots without allowing any breathing room. The intensity never dropped. The opening quarter had everything fans could want from a season opener: physical play, elite shot-making, and non-stop energy. Mitchell completely took over during the early stretch for Indiana. She attacked the defense from every angle, finishing through contact, scoring on reverse layups, and slicing through defenders whenever she wanted. She carried the Fever offense early, scoring 10 of the team's first 14 points and keeping Indiana alive through her relentless scoring. Dallas refused to back down. Bueckers knocked down another jumper, Odyssey Sims connected from deep, and Diamond DeShields added a strong finish while converting an and-one opportunity. By the end of the first quarter, the Wings held a narrow 27-25 lead, but the atmosphere inside the arena already felt electric. Crowd was fully invested, and the game still had plenty of basketball left to deliver. The game reached another level during the second quarter as Dallas finally began creating separation. The Wings exploded on a 12-3 run that pushed their lead to 9 points, and Indiana struggled to slow the momentum. Eriko Gunbowl caught fire from beyond the arc, knocking down shots from everywhere on the floor, while Paige Bueckers controlled the offense with complete confidence. She sliced through defenders, delivered pinpoint passes, and constantly made the correct decision under pressure. Dallas looked unstoppable offensively, connecting on 10 of their first 16 three-point attempts in the opening half. Their shooting display felt unreal, and by halftime the Wings held a commanding 60-51 advantage with all the energy on their side. But the entire atmosphere shifted once the second half began. Caitlin Clark opened the third quarter by pulling up from well beyond the three-point line and drilling a deep shot before Dallas could even organize defensively. Suddenly the deficit was cut down, and Gainbridge Fieldhouse erupted back to life. From that moment forward, Clark completely took control of the game in a performance that fans inside the arena will never forget. Another three-pointer came moments later off a pass from Aaliyah Boston. Then came a logo-range shot from nearly 30 feet away, followed by a difficult reverse layup through heavy traffic. Clark mixed scoring with playmaking, finding Boston cutting perfectly to the rim for easy baskets while continuing to attack the defense herself. She either scored or assisted on 12 of Indiana's first 16 points in the quarter, almost single-handedly dragging the Fever back into a game that seemed to be slipping away after halftime. Crowd inside the building grew louder with every possession as Indiana stormed back into the contest. What had been a 9-point halftime deficit quickly turned into a one-possession game. Then came the defining moment of the afternoon. Clark weaved through defenders, finished a finger-roll layup off the glass, and officially entered another chapter of WNBA history. With that basket, she became the fastest player ever to reach 1,000 points, 250 rebounds, and 250 assists in league history, accomplishing the feat in only 54 games. Previous record belonged to Diana Taurasi, who needed 62 games to reach the same milestone. Indiana legend Tamika Catchings, who also scored her 1,000th career point in her 54th game with the Fever, was in attendance to witness the historic achievement. The arena exploded into a standing ovation while the broadcast paused to acknowledge the moment. Clark briefly recognized the cheers before immediately locking back into the game. Dallas, however, refused to collapse under the pressure. The Wings responded to every Indiana run and kept the game balanced heading into the closing stretch. Buchers was sensational throughout the second half, finishing with 20 points while shooting an incredibly efficient 8-4-10 from the field. Every possession she looked composed, confident, and completely in control, reminding everyone why she entered the league with enormous expectations. By the end of the third quarter, the scoreboard showed an 80-80 tie, setting up a dramatic final period between two teams that refused to back down. Dallas regained a small edge early in the fourth quarter, stretching the lead back to 5 as the intensity inside the arena continued to rise. Eric Ogunbowale knocked down another huge three-pointer, and for a moment it looked like Dallas was finally ready to put the game away. Then the entire momentum of the night changed in an instant. Caitlin Clark became frustrated after a foul was called involving Natasha James, believing the contact had been exaggerated. Clark immediately got in her face, pointed toward her, and made it very clear she thought the play was a flop. Crowd exploded with energy, and suddenly the entire building felt alive again. That moment perfectly captured why Clark has become one of the biggest attractions in basketball. Even when the ball is not in her hands, she controls the atmosphere of the game and keeps fans completely locked in. Kelsey Mitchell continued carrying Indiana during the closing minutes. She attacked the rim for a tough layup and converted the and-one opportunity to bring the Fever within striking distance. Moments later, she buried a step-back three-pointer that turned the game into a one-possession battle once again. Gainbridge Fieldhouse was shaking as Indiana pushed closer to completing an incredible comeback. Then came another massive play from Aaliyah Boston, who stripped the ball away from Paige Buchers, raced down the floor, and finished the fast break layup to give Indiana a 101-100 lead. For a brief moment, it truly felt like the Fever were about to steal the game. Dallas answered with the composure of a veteran team. Alana Smith scored a crucial basket near the rim, while Odyssey Sims calmly knocked down an important free throw against her former team. Indiana still had chances in the final seconds. Clark launched a deep three-pointer after Buchers flew past her defensively, and Mitchell attempted a desperation half-court shot as the buzzer sounded, but neither attempt could fall. When the final horn ended the game, the Dallas Wings escaped Indianapolis with a dramatic 107-104 victory over the Fever. Mitchell finished with 30 points in a performance that would have easily stolen headlines on most nights. Boston added 23 points, 9 rebounds, and 3 steals while delivering one of the most